Coming to you live from my apartment, it's Rob Has a Podcast, and now here's a guy who drops off a care package in your podcast feed 3 nights a week about Big Brother 18. I'm Rob Cesternino, and your boy is back once again to talk about an eviction night where Frank the Tank, or maybe Frank the Stank is a new nickname that we heard tonight, went home, one-way ticket, no round trip for your boy if you're a Frank fan, and we're going to talk about it all. And we got to see the practice of an HOH competition as well. Scintillating to see people practicing the HOH competition. A man who needs no practice is here with me tonight. Brent Wolgamott. Brent, how are you?
Exactly, Rob. I need no practice, but I will tell you that Michelle, being such a good friend of Frank, has been practicing that line that she used in the diary room to evict him for the past 5 days. She thought she was so original, saying, "I can't wait to evict Frank." Like, it was so hilarious.
I don't understand. I don't get it. This is the same person that we saw say about how, well, I have a little bit of a crush on Frank, and, I just really hate Bridget so much, and she's crying in the storage room. Oh, Frank, I don't want you to go home. And then she goes in the diary room, and it's like, Frank. What is she doing? Like, why is she killing him that he stinks, but also she has a crush on him, and she's crying. She doesn't want him to go home and not be on the jury.
Well, it seems to me like the crush is in the past tense. I mean, she's definitely been hanging out with Davon a lot, and she's been going non-stop about how Frank is the devil. You saw Davon on the show tonight. She thinks Frank is the snake. He's the devil. So I think that's feeding a little bit of her animosity. Plus the fact that, like, how could Frank, like, superstar, America's favorite player from Big Brother 14, choose Bridget over Michelle? I'm sure that's what she's thinking in her own head, and it's a little bit of a self-reflection on her part to think that maybe she's not as good as she thinks.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk about all that and much more. Take your questions, hashtag RHAP, and then also on our YouTube channel at robhasawebsite.com/YouTube. We're going to have our Big Brother feed update coming up on Friday morning. I'll be live with Alex and Taryn, assuming that they are around on Friday, and we'll get into everything that happens overnight. Plus, we will talk about, in our live feed update, any news coming out of the backyard in terms of who threw a red ball and where it may landed here on a jam-packed night. But let's get into our top story at this hour, Brent. We had the secret room. It provided envelopes. There was a little bit of intrigue as to whether Frank, a.k.a. Stank, Frank opened up his envelope, and it was a one-way ticket, to the surprise of many who felt like that maybe the fix might be in, but alas for Frank Nation, that it was a one-way trip to Frank, who misses the jury.
Well, Frank was not shooting for the jury. Frank was shooting for the win, unlike many people in the house this season. I think he was glad to be evicted this week rather than next week. I was never one of the people that thought that there was going to be any hanky-panky going on tonight as far as the round-trip ticket or
Franky-panky.
Yeah, Franky-panky. That's our hashtag tonight. Thank you. I just thought it was a little bit too on the nose for him to get it, like, right away after they revealed it. I mean, maybe Big Brother would do that, but I just didn't think it would be there.
Yeah, it really would have been very on the nose for them to go ahead and do that on the first night that it's out there. Like, I know that they are brazen at times with this stuff, but that might have been a bridge or a Bridget too far.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still so ambivalent about the whole thing. I mean, again, it's more likely than not that it doesn't happen. So this is the big twist that they were talking about, that they were going to use the secret room for, and they couldn't wait to reveal it to us. And they finally did what I wanted, which was a code and a riddle, and you had to figure something out. Only for it to, it's like, this is nothing. Like, it's like you give away buybacks like free candy every season. All of a sudden this season you decided to turn it into a game for everybody.
We got Victor back. What are you talking about, Brent?
And isn't that the biggest bunch of nothing? I mean, Victor coming back into the house, was he even on the show tonight? He was there, I guess, to help his boy Paul. After Paul solved the riddle, then he's like, well, I want to solve the riddle too. And by the way, Victor's one of the people that couldn't keep his mouth shut, which is why Frank and Bridget both got into the room. Both him and Natalie both were the ones who couldn't help but tell Bridget and Frank what the code was to get in, because they couldn't figure it out on their own.
All right, well, we got to see how the secret room twist played out tonight. I know that a lot of it happened on the feeds, and I talked about it with Alec last night, and you guys talked about it in the real time on Monday with Jordan. But for the TV show, let's just talk about how that played out. So it was really a lot of Paul figuring it out. Do you give Paul a lot of credit for being able to piece this all together, or do you feel like that the writing was on the proverbial wall?
I give him a ton of credit for being able to put it together. I give him low credit for not being able to keep it a secret, and I give him no credit at all for his terrible attempt, once everybody saw that he went into the room, to then come out and be like, well, I don't know, and what was the code, and well, I can't remember, the thing that it was, and it was terrible. So no points for that, and he started to get into a little bit of hot water with the house guests for his line. Once they figured out what was really going on.
It was definitely exciting as he was going through the process and putting the clues together, that he was like, okay, he's like, okay, your boy, I'm looking at the wall, I see Paris, I know that room, I gotta go in there. I mean, there was one point where he's like looking at clues, and this is a shot of him in the diary room where he's, oh! He's doing that scream all the time. And just that, like, they just are like cutting him anytime he's like, oh, and Paulie is doing it. It's like really turning into a thing. I mean, he could be like some sort of a cult leader, Paul, because he just like starts saying things, and more people just keep saying everything that he said. Oh!
Well, he incessantly says it. It's not just something you say every once in a while. Like, I have a few, everybody has a few isms in their life that they do. I have isms. Everybody has an ism, But he's got like 5 of them, and he repeats them all the time for anybody to hear. He loves to hear himself talk. I give him, like I said, a ton of credit for figuring this out. I don't really care for Paul in the game at this point because he's really annoying the living heck out of me. But yeah, I don't really need the friendship from Paul. But
friendship.
Pissed. But I give him a ton of credit for being able to figure out the riddle of what was going on with the signs and the departure and looking on the plane. I asked some people, I didn't notice because they never really showed close up of the plane to see if that plane had been changed. Like, I wanted to know, did the windows always say call Paris? And apparently they had always said call Paris on the windows, which I can't believe nobody ever thought to think of before.
Yeah, and they really went ahead and pieced it all together. What changed? The departure board update? What was the impetus for getting them all to, other than the screen saying like, hey, look around for clues?
Nothing as far as I could tell. I'll be, total disclosure here. I was sleeping through the first half of this when we came on the live feed show during the Big Brother Happy Hour on Monday, because I thought I was safe. What happens on a Monday night after the veto ceremony? Usually not a lot. It was pretty quiet. And all of a sudden you come on and you see this is happening. As far as I could tell, they were always suspicious of the signs in the house, and they always felt like, even early on, as did we on the outside, that the departures board would come into play some way or another. Well, I just thought it would be an HOH competition or something like that. I never dreamed that it would be something to do with this, with the secret room. So as far as I can tell, there were no other clues given out. Paul figured it out on his own. I think everybody kind of worked together a little bit. That group of 10, besides Bridget and Frank, they all worked together, and Paul was eventually the one to be able to put it together that the green letters spelled out the phrase that they needed to get to Paris.
Was there a lot of backlash from Paul and his terrible press conference with everybody? One of the worst press conferences I've seen this week. Right. So Paul was like basically getting just peppered with questions like, excuse me, Paul, when you were in the room, what did it say? It said something, I don't remember. it was very confusing. It all happened fast for your boy, and I was just screaming, and I don't remember. Like, all right, well, can we go in? I wouldn't. It was scary. It was dark. I would stay away if you can. I would avoid it. Well, should you go back in and get? No. I don't remember. And I think someone's calling me. Oh!
There was not a whole lot of backlash. He was going to, I think he would have gotten more, but he was successfully able to cover because of the fact that Frank and Bridget were there in that group meeting, and he was able to say after the fact, when they were questioning him why he was lying, he said, well, I didn't want Frank and Bridget to find out how to get into the room, so I didn't want there to be a chance that they could come back into the game. So
Okay.
they bought that, and that was enough.
All right. Well, Frank had to give a speech to ultimately go out of the house tonight. He ended up giving a pretty memorable speech that was like, I don't like any of you guys. Like, sorry, not sorry. And it basically told off the house. Brett, any issues with Frank going out that way, or that was a pretty frank way to go out?
That was a very frank way to go out. It was a very boogie way to go out, and I am glad that he told that group of unlikable, terrible house guests what he really thought of them. Even if he said after the fact that he didn't really mean it, I think there's a part of him that means it. And I have to say, Rob, that I don't know what it is this season. This is possibly the most unlikable group of house guests since Big Brother 9. I really mean that. I'm not being over the top on this one. I've honestly looked back at each season and thought, well, I had people to root for. I had this person to root for, or at least this person was doing well. This season, the players are terrible. There's no strategy going on. The people that do have strategy, they don't know how to successfully lie. Look, i.e. Nicole, look at her when she lies. And then they try to pretend like they're not playing the game. They're trying to pretend like they're just along for the ride when they're trying to play the game, which is badly in the first place. On top of that, they're going out of their way to be like mean 5th grade level, junior high bullshit to Frank and Bridget, treating them like they have leprosy or something, when, as far as I can tell, and I've been watching the feeds, they have really done nothing to deserve that.
Okay,
And
well,
there's
I
no
wanna talk about
strategy,
this.
Rob.
Because last night I was on with Alex, and we were talking about the Michelle and Bridget conversation, which
I am nice to you sometimes.
and I said that I feel bad for Bridget, because I feel like, what did Bridget do? Why is she getting attacked by Michelle in that way? And I did get some feedback from people after the fact, and I always like to try to, I don't want to misrepresent anything. So let me get into the mailbag a little bit of some of the feedback that I got after last night's show, and I want to talk about this. This is an email from Riki, who wrote in and said, hey, the way you guys talk about Bridget is nauseating. Please stop. She's not a toy poodle. She's a grown adult that acts like a pathetic woman baby. I can see why Michelle is indignant with her. And in regards to being a traveling nurse, she's basically a freelance nurse and may not have been offered a full-time position because she does not exude a trust me, I'm a reliable, responsible adult.
First of all, that
Yes.
is speculation. There is no evidence whatsoever that that's really what happened in her life. Ricky, and number two, she's a very nice, genuine girl. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean that she isn't. She's genuine with these house guests. Michelle is a mean girl. She can't empathize with people, and she can't understand how Bridget can be a nice, kind-hearted person, because Michelle is not a nice, kind-hearted person. She
I
is
am
a
nice
bitch.
to you sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, well, I just want to look that I felt like for Bridget, I was saying, why are people going after her? She seems like she's really nice. That people, I think, on the feeds are saying that that she is sort of like talking in baby voice, and it can be annoying.
Okay, there's a difference between it can be annoying to you personally and she deserves the retribution of the entire house because they think she's the devil. There's no reason to treat her badly. If you're annoyed by her, you're annoyed by her. Just get away from her. Don't say anything to her. But to actively go out of your way to upset her and be mean to her, as Paul did the other night, and the other house guests were in on it, there's just no excuse for that, in my opinion.
Okay.
Why are you doing this?
Let me give you email number 2 I got
All right.
today. This is from CG, who says, Rob, you opened the podcast on Wednesday for 15 solid minutes saying everything you could possibly think of to put Big Mish in a negative light. If I was in the house, I'd dislike Bridget too. You guys are buying into Bridget's BS. Ha ha. She tried to claim she was bullied because people weren't cheering for her in the veto. She constantly talks crap about people and swears a lot. Bridget is not as nice of a person as she makes it out to be. Why is Michelle not allowed to dislike her? And she said she wanted to shave her eyebrows and took away a good game partnership she had with Frank early. And Bridget is so annoying with the fake put on a little girl routine.
Oh my God, this is...
Why are you so convinced Michelle was not self-conscious about her eyebrows? Why are you only saying that Bridget is the only... Why are you only saying Michelle's the only one not treating Bridget well? The whole house doesn't like Bridget. It seems like you're blowing it out of proportion, trying to put it on the level of BB18. Has Michelle tried to beat Bridget up? Has she been racist? And then CG says that the reason why we've been hard on Bridget is because she said she didn't like the podcast on Reddit.
I mean, Michelle, yeah.
Sorry,
First of
Michelle.
all, let's take the last point first. Michelle saying that she doesn't like the podcast on Reddit. Number one, she said she did like the podcast. She just didn't like you and me,
Yes.
and Alex and Taryn.
And in fairness, she has been complimentary about the podcast.
Yes, she has been.
On the live feed. So I feel like that's sort of a moot point. Like
Right.
I think
It's
a
a
number of times she's brought up the podcast.
Exactly. It's a moot point. She said she loves the podcast. She even likes you. She just doesn't like you say the way you say the word because, and she didn't think that I have the voice for a podcast, which is debatable. I'll give her that. Okay, so let's set that aside for a second because that is not my issue
in
with
fairness
Michelle.
to Big Mish.
I am nice to you sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and I like Michelle sometimes. But my issue with Michelle is, number one, she knew that Frank was going to be evicted this week. So consequently, she knows that Bridget's going to remain in the game until the final 11. That means that at worst, Bridget is going to be on the jury. Michelle, as a superfan, should know you should at least fake being nice to Bridget, given that she's going to be on the jury, if you plan on winning Big Brother, which, by the way, I agree with Alex. I do not think now that Michelle can win Big Brother. I think she's drawing dead. Second of all, talking about Bridget, to say that she swears as proof that she isn't a nice person, first of all, I swear all the time, and I'm a very nice person. Bridget does not talk in a baby voice on purpose. I really do think that's just the way she genuinely talks when she is sad, which is most of the time. And not only that, she was bullied by the rest of the house because they're all ganging up on her, rooting against her actively to lose the OTEV competition when it's her against Michelle. Everybody's rooting for Big Mish. No one, save for Frank, is rooting for Bridget. So tell me how you would feel if you were stuck in a house with 10 other people who all hated your guts and wanted you out. It would feel like they were bullying you. So it's not about our perception of Bridget. It's about Bridget's perception of the rest of the house. And they were bullying her in her eyes.
And that being said, I'd like to see nice things happen for Bridget, but she's not playing a great game either. I'm not rooting for her to go on and become the winner of Big Brother 18. All I said was last night I felt bad for her, that I thought that she was really coming under attack. I mean, Bridget, now, it'd be nice if she could get up off her fanny and do something in this game.
Yeah, Bridget, I'm glad that Frank was evicted tonight and that he didn't stay another week, like if he got the round-trip ticket. Because, I mean, Bridget's main mistake in the game, as far as I can tell, is just cozying up to Frank, like being honestly inseparable from him. And, it isn't a showmance, but for all intents and purposes, it is the same thing because people saw them as a pair and people didn't like Frank, and so Bridget became the object of their objection because they wanted Frank out.
Okay, chat room is for the most part behind you on this. I see Nicolette in the chat room saying Brentship.
Well, I'm calling as I see them. The people in the house this season, they need to check themselves. Seriously, I don't know what it is about the Big Brother house that brings out some of the worst traits in people. But it's like these people are back in high school again.
There's a camera on them 24 hours a day. I think that's really the thing.
You would think that would make them act. You would think that would make them act better. And they apparently care about themselves. Nicole was just saying to, I don't know who the other day, how she was mad that her little interaction with Corey this week, she got into a fight with him. And by the way, it wasn't even shown on the show. She didn't want to be seen as a bitch. But
I am so mad and honestly embarrassed.
Yeah.
Yeah, she kind of is. Sorry, Nicole.
All right, but Nicole's barely on the show anymore. I mean, really, Nicole, Corey, Paulie is barely on the show anymore.
It's hard to find
these showmances were not on Big Brother this week.
It's hard to find Nicole. She's usually underneath Corey.
Whoa.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right, well, let's talk about we checked in with the BFFs of the 4 returning players tonight, and I would just love to get your take on that. We saw Jason talk about Davon. No real headlines there, right?
No, I think he actually was able to objectively quantify her game by saying that if she can make it through the next couple of weeks, once these showmances begin to become the bigger targets in the house, then I think she might be able to stick around for a while because she's not in a showmance.
Yeah. You think Davon is on the upswing here, or you think that she could potentially be a major target now that Frank's out of the house?
The next 2 weeks are dangerous for her. If she can get past the next 2 weeks, I think you can put her into the final 5. I really do. But I worry about her right now. I think Paulie is not happy with her right now. He distrusts her. Nicole obviously isn't a big fan of Davon right now, so she's got some worry depending on what happens with this next HOH. Not to mention what would happen if Bridget were the winner of the next HOH, yeah. And I don't even know what she would do.
Brent, I do think could be one of the few positive outcomes we could root for this season.
What, Davon coming into her own? I mean, look, no one would root harder than me for a Davon win. And of the people this week who have behaved badly, she has not behaved as badly as some of the other people in the house, but she has still not been great. And I would just like to see her hold her head a little bit higher and act a little bit better.
Yeah, she's just a bad player.
Yeah, oh yeah, she's a bad player, but her game's on the upswing, I think. So here's hoping.
Okay. Then in terms of James, we saw Meg come into a little bit of a debate here between James and Meg, telling 2 different stories where Meg talked about, like, oh, James is my friend. We've always been friends. I was always clear with him about friendship with James. And James basically said, yeah, Meg is really led me on. She really blurred the lines between friendship and not friendship.
Yeah, I don't want to get into that one because I feel like I lose either way. But, yeah, they obviously have different opinions. And, Meg, I love you, but you didn't really add a lot to the show tonight. It was like you were there and out.
Thought it would have been good if we would have asked Jason about James in the house.
Yeah, I would like to hear what Jason had to say about James. I think he honestly understands the game a lot better than Meg does, frankly, who up until the end was saying that Vanessa was not working with Austin and the twins last year.
Thought James had a pretty lame quote with Frank going out the door, like, Frank, this house is only big enough for one America's favorite player. Like, come on. Stop it.
If I never hear the phrase America's favorite player again, it will be too soon. I'm so sick of hearing, boy, he wears it like a badge. Mm-hmm. James does. And Frank won America's favorite player, and you never hear him talk about it. I will say that Frank gave James that line to use.
Oh, Frank said that.
Right, he said it on the show tonight, exactly, that he gave James the line to use. So I'll cut him a little bit of slack. But beyond that, James talks about America's favorite player all the time. I really wish they would eliminate it because I really feel like he cares more about America's favorite player than winning the actual game.
I mean, I think that's pretty clear.
It's just... why are you putting something in play that makes the house guests want to act nicer and less dramatic. It just seems like that's an antithesis to good television.
I think they make a lot of money on that 99 cent a vote text message, right?
Oh yeah, I did forget about that. Isn't there a free way to vote?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I don't want to get into that.
Okay.
And then, Brent, could you explain to me why for Nicole they ended up talking with Crazy James tonight?
Nicole, you mean they talked Crazy James? Who are you? Oh.
Wasn't that who they were interviewed tonight when they were talking with Nicole's friend?
No, that's a different guy actually.
That wasn't Crazy James?
I've seen all of Crazy James, and that was definitely not him. This is a different guy. His name is Hayden Voss, I believe.
That's
not Moss.
Hayden Voss?
Yes, it was him.
What is going on?
When you said James, it threw me for a loop for a second. I'm like, who are you talking about? Then I'm back with you now.
Okay, maybe we understand the breakup.
Well, it's funny to me listening to Nicole. She was like, he doesn't want to have kids, he doesn't want to get married, and so that's why we broke up. I thought there was a little bit more to it than that, but apparently everything's all good from Hayden's point of view. He's rooting for Nicole to bring it home, and he says that they're really good friends right now, which is good to hear, because Nicole seems pretty shaken up about it still in the house.
Okay. Yeah. Really, what's with his new look? They got a good look going on in BB16.
I think he looks better now, actually. I kind of like him with the shorter hair. He's a very handsome guy. I think he pulls off the look pretty well.
Okay. All right. We'll agree to disagree on that. Right. I say let's do a throwback for Hayden Voss. And then finally, we had the other person that we checked in with, the other returning player. Who is it? Who didn't we? Oh, Boogie.
Mike Boogie.
Yeah, Mike Boogie really come down hard on Frank.
Yeah, it was clearly of the four of them, the person who I thought was able to analyze the person's game the best. He was so right about Frank. You know, aside from the way Frank acts in the house, my biggest issue with Frank early on was that he was telling people, bragging to people, that he was the winner of the roadkill competitions early on, when you know you are a huge comp beast in the house, knows it because of your rep. Why are you telling people that? Now, in his defense, that wasn't the only reason why he was ultimately evicted tonight, but it certainly was one of the reasons, and when you're a comp beast, you don't want to give people more than one reason to evict you.
Yeah. Well, let's do our final eulogy on Frank, our UDG on Frank, after he came back in, and really a 5-week run in this season that after 7 days in the house, after 1 week, we were singing his praises. We talked about how Frank came back a new man, and we thought that he had a lot of equity, potentially, to come back and win this game. And by 2 weeks into this game, we were out on Frank as the winner. And then he really was never able to bounce back. He seemed like he was getting a little bit of traction. Everybody wanted him out a week ago, and then that ended up being the week that Tiffany went home. But now here he is 5 weeks in, and then ultimately the person who goes out of the game. So, Brent, where did it all go wrong for Frank?
I think it went wrong strategically for his inability to sit still. As Alex pointed out correctly on the show last night, he was unable to sit back and accept the fruits of his labor, if you will. I mean, he was great in putting together the 8-pack, and even had a little bit of a side alliance with the Spy Girls not targeting him. That should have been enough, and it wasn't enough for him. He felt like he had to make side deals within that, and side deals upon side deals, sub-alliance within sub-alliance, and word eventually gets out when people are talking with each other. But the bigger thing, and I wish I could remember back to Big Brother 14, because I didn't watch the feeds as much back then, his personality and the way he gets along with people is just a little bit out of time. And by that I mean he seems like a boy from the 1990s who, like political correctness and the way things work now, he hasn't quite caught up with that. And it definitely showed in the Big Brother house, him dealing with other people. I guess I'm just a Gen Xer trapped in a millennial world. He's he really is a Gen Xer. I mean, I don't know how old he is. I forget. But
lead me to my next point, Brent.
What?
Here's what needs to happen for Frank. Frank needs to get on the phone with Beast Mode Cowboy, and he needs to figure out, hey, hey, who did you talk to get on Survivor? This is
Right.
what Frank needs. Frank is on the wrong show. He needs to get out there. Frank would do great on Survivor. If they could get Frank into a Survivor season, I think that Frank could be a potential Survivor winner.
I agree. Frank is the kind of guy who works good in big groups, and he likes to lead, and he
Or
doesn't
maybe not
like.
a winner, but at least he'd be in the mix. He would
Yeah,
have
exactly.
a much better chance to win a Survivor season than a Big Brother season.
I think he came back because it was a bit of unfinished business, and obviously, Boogie, when he came back his second time, he ended up being a winner. So I think that Frank thought that maybe that was a possibility for him. There's no way it was going to happen.
He'd at least make a jury. I keep couching this. He'd at least make a jury on a Survivor season.
Well, he made a jury last time, so there is that. But I don't know. I definitely think that Survivor would be the better landing spot for him. Not
How
Big
about
Brother.
this? Okay.
Okay.
That Frank over Beast Mode Cowboy as a Survivor player.
Oh boy, I don't know. I guess I can buy that. But Beast Mode was pretty good last season when he was on, so I don't know. I've always felt like Beast Mode Cowboy would be the great Survivor player, only because he is so loyal and he would stick with the people who he needed to stick with, and people wouldn't want to vote him out until about final 6, final 5. So I don't know. Frank, he seems a little antsy, and he may not be able to get along with the women as well as Beast Mode Cowboy can.
Yeah, but I think on Survivor, what are the problems with Frank? That he stinks and he's farting all the time. And that's not as much of an issue on Survivor.
It's not as much of an issue on Survivor, definitely when nobody's bathing on a daily basis. I don't know. I buy Beast Mode Cowboy more than I would Frank, I think.
Okay. All right. We'll see. We'll see about that. We'll do a fan fiction someday along the way. Davon, again, killing Frank on the way out the door. He's sitting there with an envelope, 1 in 12 shot. He's coming back in the house. What is Davon doing every week?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what is going on behind the scenes. I don't know what's going on behind the curtain. Maybe they knew that they were going to open up the envelope, and then once they opened it up and saw that it was a one-way ticket, then they would play the goodbye messages. I'm sure maybe she got some confidence. On the other hand, all the cards were on the table, as Alex pointed out. All the cards were on the table this week. Frank said in front of Davon, I want the veto to be used on me, and I want Davon to go up in my place. So why is she going to be nice to him at that point? There's nothing more to hide.
Here's the thing. How about this? When you're on Big Brother, there's a bunch of things that can happen every week where America gets a chance to vote for stuff. Do you want to come off as a person who is, killing somebody who could be a potential fan favorite? You don't know. Frank is a former America's favorite player. Do you want to be killing that guy on the way out the door?
I don't know. During week 1, when Jose was about to be evicted, and Davon was talking about couching her goodbye message a little bit better so that if he ever came back, she would not be a target of his. I said that was a mistake from a entertainment point of view. You don't want people doing that. That's why I don't like them bringing people back, because then people can't be themselves and say what they really mean in the goodbye message, which is your one time to really tell people what you think of them, especially if it's pre-jury. Mm-hmm. But from a strategical point of view, she made the right choice, considering that Jose was going to come back into the game if he won the battle back.
All right, let's talk about the new twist that we learned about tonight, that we're going to have America's care package, Brent. America will vote, and this week, which player do you want to have a slot pass that's going to be airdropped?
Well, here's the thing. As a feed watcher, I don't care about this never not pass. What I care about is hoping that Big Brother lets the house guests know that whoever gets the never not pass was voted on by America. And I hope that we all vote for Bridget, because it would absolutely drive Michelle batshit crazy if she
thought
be very
fun. It would be
that
very
Bridget
fun if that
was the winner.
Now,
yes.
Okay, so once you get something, then you're out of the running to get something. Now, is this such an innocuous? That with the care package of a never not pass, more like a who cares package. Well, I mean, with these have-nots, I mean, do we really? Is there any interest in this person? Like, are we wasting something on Bridget, or you think it'll just be funny to have the house be like, what? Bridget is the favorite player. James will lose his mind.
I would love it, and that's what I'm rooting for, because I don't think there's going to be much coming down the pipe for this America's favorite whatever. I mean, maybe it might be something like, a definite veto plan, like, you can use this pass to play in the veto anytime you want. They've done that before, and they have 7 people playing in the veto instead of 6. Maybe it could be something as extensive as that, but beyond that, I don't see anything more happening as far as the game goes. And so considering that, I think we should all vote for Bridget in hopes that everybody goes crazy on the feeds.
Yeah. This is James's reaction when Bridget gets the America's favorite player the slot pass.
What the hell?
Not going to be happy about that. All right. Let's talk about then the HOH competition. Brent, I don't understand why in the world we had a practice round that went on for the entire rest of the show. It's like we tuned in to watch the baseball game, and it was like, all right, today we're bringing you batting practice. Okay, everybody. And they set up this whole practice round. You can practice for as long as you want, and then when you think you're ready, use the red ball. And I thought it was going to be, but if you practice for longer, it will get progressively harder. Your thing will shake as you wait. It was just like, no, practice for as long as you want, and there is no penalty for practicing you can practice for an hour if you want.
Right. The only penalty was if you tie somebody for their score, the person who got it first is going to be the head of household. When we went to the end of the show, only one person.
Another who cares package.
Only one person, Paulie, had already thrown his ball.
By the end of the show, or this is feeds?
No, this is not feeds. I'm not spoiling anything.
Okay.
At the end of the show, you could see that Paulie had thrown his ball, and it had landed in number 6. So he got 6 points. So obviously, I don't think he's going to be the winner. So anybody else can probably be head of household at this point.
Well, he was doing really good. I really thought that he had this in the bag.
Well, obviously not if he got 6 points. That's what I'll make sure of that, but I don't think he's in the running.
It says he got a 6. What incentive did anybody have to go quicker on this other than not tying somebody? I don't understand.
I don't know. I really don't. Look, here's the thing. It's an interesting comp, and it's an interesting idea, but I agree with you that when Julie started talking about the caveats to the competition, I thought for sure there would be something like some penalty for, going longer than a certain amount of time, or that at any given point, maybe they could have done something like, practice as long as you want, but at any, predetermined point, the competition may end, and if you haven't thrown the ball by that point, then you're out. Whoever has the highest score is the head of household. They could have done it like that, but instead we could be waiting here for 3 hours while they do it.
Brent, the chat room is saying that Paulie is throwing this competition. Are you buying that? Are you friendship or pissed at that?
I am not buying it. I guess that's more feeds. I'm just not buying it. He's a competitive guy. He wants to have the power. He wants to have all of the power if he can, and he's used to being in control. And he's definitely the alpha dog in the house. Maybe he thinks nobody would target him, and he's probably right. But on the other hand, I can't see him just outright throwing it.
I gotta throw this challenge because I got all the power in the house. Why would I try to win it when I could already call my shot?
Well, it says that I guess this happened on the show. It said he walked slowly. He was walking nonchalantly back and forth. He walked slowly to get the red ball, barely pushed it down the table, watched it for a second, and turned around and stood to the side. No disappointment or anything. So maybe he did throw it, which if he did, good for him. It takes balls to throw an HOH competition. You never know what can happen in the Big Brother house, especially with twists in play. And he decided to do it.
Ball boy, hello. There's 2 of my balls in the corner. I need my balls.
Yes. All right. So, Brent, the chat room is also talking about how they have posted what the other prizes are along the way for the other weeks.
Okay.
The thing is that the chat room is posting it, but then there's so many people chatting that is going by too fast. Week 2 is an eliminate 2 eviction vote pass, which is interesting.
Okay.
And then the prizes get progressively better. So don't you think that this is not great? That I don't think that there'll be any way to organize this. Week 3 is a super safety. You'll be safe for the week, but you have to wear a costume. It's like, again, America, the Who Cares package.
Right.
It'd be nice to be safe, but who cares about the costume? Week 4 is co-HOH. And week 5 is a BB bribe. Get $5,000 to bribe another house guest.
Week 5? I thought it was only for 4 weeks.
I guess that there's the 5th week.
Okay.
That's the round trip ticket.
And what's you're right, that is the round trip ticket. What's co-HOH? Does it explain what that is?
You get to nominate one of the 2 house guests for eviction.
And you're presumably safe from being nominated yourself. That is a power worth having. I would like to have that power. So.
Yeah, but the way this is going to work is that we only knew about this. Look, we're podcasting about the show. We need the chat room to tell us about these things. Right. So, like, people are going to vote for Bridget, and then it's going to be like, okay, well, now who's the second most popular person? Okay, they'll win it that week. So the most powerful thing will go to the 5th most popular house guest in the house.
Which at this point is probably Davon. I mean, who knows where it will be 5 weeks from now or 4 weeks from now? But it's I mean, like Bridget and James and Natalie, these are the people at the top of the popularity poll as far as I have been able to determine. And I don't know what the rest of the house guests think.
All right, so looking at the Joker's update poll, the most popular house guest is Natalie, so she'll get a never not pass. Second is James. Third is Frank, he's gone. Then 4th is Bridget. 5th is Davon, and then Nicole.
Yeah, like I called it. Yeah.
Paulie is the least popular house guest on Joker's update.
My brother Cody.
Yeah. Can you believe that?
I can. People are rooting for the underdog in Big Brother, and definitely the underdogs right now are Frank and Bridget. Of course, he's gone now, and James and Natalie. I feel like I don't think they're underdogs, but they're also not in power. They're just sort of like tangentially related to the power at this point.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get to some of your questions here tonight. And we will, if we find out anything from the live feeds, we'll do that at the end of the show. This is from Jairus, who says, has every returning player been a letdown except for Davon?
Wow.
I think that's really, your mileage may vary on that.
Yeah, I'll say yes. Yes, I do believe James is a total letdown. Nicole is a total letdown. And
Why?
Frank obviously he was evicted pre-jury and he couldn't change his behavior from Big Brother 14. So let down too.
All right, R. Vandervest, isn't it a bit odd that Big Brother started this round trip ticket twist pre-jury?
It's a little bit odd, but I mean, I don't know. What do you want from me, people? I'm like, I think it's odd that there are 12 envelopes. And it's more likely than not that the twist isn't even going to come into play. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think it should have been. I think you guys said this right. It should have been like the first 4 people. If it's 4 weeks, it should have been like the first 4 people. But I guess then not everybody that gets evicted would have gotten an envelope. So I don't know. I mean, if anything, Brent, I think it should have been. Forget these envelopes. There should have been a wheel. And then you just, for 4 weeks we have a wheel, and then we're going to spin the wheel if you're evicted or not evicted at this point.
Yeah, that would have been great.
Okay. All right. Steven says, how significant do you think the care package advantages will be going forward? We touched on that. It sounds like they're going to get pretty significant. Brent, do you like that they're going to, when we found out, it was a slot pass, again, it was like the Who Cares package. This seems as though it's going to be pretty significant. So do you think that it is a bad idea to have them be such important things?
No, I am somebody who has liked that aspect of Big Brother Canada. Big Brother Canada has, they have fused more of the audience-related participation in the Big Brother game. For instance, they had a Canada's HOH where Canada decided on the nominees, and they gave some people some powers at another point. So I've never really had a problem with that. I like the fact, look, I've always said Big Brother is an entertainment TV show first and a game second. It would not be on the air if it wasn't entertaining and funny. So anything you can do to get people more interactive with the game, I'm all for.
Okay. Let's go to John Johnson, who says, with Frank sadly gone, will it help Bridget's game since there are bigger targets in the game? I said the other night that I see no way that Bridget gets voted out this week. What do you think, Brent?
There are definitely some people who could be nominated, but here's the thing. Even if Bridget is nominated for eviction and is presumably the target by who's ever head of household, or they say she's the target, they're going to have to nominate a pawn. And who is that pawn going to be? I mean, it could be Victor, but I don't think Paul would necessarily be happy with that.
It better not. You better leave. My boy, off the block. My name is Paul. It's not Pawn. Don't put me up. Pissed. Yeah.
I think it also could be somebody like Natalie, but James would be mad. So I think that's going to be very interesting to see. It's fine if you want to nominate Bridget. A lot of the House wants her out. But who are you going to put up with her? That's the problem. And nobody's going to want to take that chair. Also, obviously, there's some other people in danger that we can talk about in the feeds section.
Okay. Shannon says, do you think that America's care packages limit one per house guest? Yes, that is correct. Julie did say that.
Yep, Julie did say that. So don't use everything up right now. We got to wait for Bridget. Hopefully she sticks around for a week. On the other hand, if she gets it, feeds gold.
The rules say it's one present per your boy. So one present per boy. That's right. Okay, Michael GM says, was Boogie right that one of Frank's worst moves was revealing to everyone that he won the road kills? Obviously, Brent says that it was. Yeah, I think I mean, Frank came back, and we've touched on this all season. They came up with a twist that was tailor-made for Frank, where it was you could privately win comps. So here's an advantage that Frank's biggest, the thing that everybody's scared of, oh, Frank, he's a comp beast. We got to vote Frank out because he's going to win all the competitions. Ooh, Frank, we made a twist for you that will allow you to win comps in private. You don't have to tell anybody, and you could just go in that Winnebago and win every week. And he's like, well, I'm just going to tell everybody. I don't care. I'll do it. Whatever. I can't keep it a secret.
I know. It was so frustrating watching him, too, because not only did he tell people, he bragged about it. He danced a little jig when he won to tell people that he won. It's like you're painting the bullseye on your back so large right now, and unlike Dr. Will, they still can see it.
Yeah, okay. All right, let's go to Primal Instinct. Were Big Misha's tears about not using the veto on Frank real or a ploy to keep her in his good graces in case he stays? Boy, that seems like that's given Big Misha a lot of credit.
A lot of credit. No, she's just an airhead, honestly. I don't know what she was crying about at that point. Like Frank said, you cared about him so damn much, you had the opportunity to use the veto on him, and you didn't. Shut up.
Well, she was like, I was hoping that we could hang out in jury. Whoa, that's like, jury and chill.
Yeah, by the way, I agree with Alex's assessment last night. What she revealed in the diary room about, having a bit of a crush on Frank, I mean, I'm definitely buying that. It seems like that's where all this is. It all makes sense to me now. I never could understand. Oh, by the way, somebody's been tweeting me all week. The thing about the eyebrows wasn't even about Michelle. It was about Tiffany. Like, it was a total mix-up. Like it wasn't even about Michelle, apparently. Like everything was mixed up. They sent me the timestamp and showed me where it was. So, like, the whole thing that she was mad about to begin with was just hearsay. It was total bullshit. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Then let's go to Jill Robinson. Is Paul better suited for Survivor since he's all about friendship? Lately, Survivor is more of a social game. Your boy would kill it on Survivor. I should be on the show, that I wouldn't be sketch, I would win.
No, I think that no. I think that Paul is way too hyper and aggressive to play Survivor. I don't know. I don't think he would do all that great.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'd be fine on Survivor. I think that he would probably be as good on Survivor as he is on Big Brother. I don't.
Rob, don't give him any ideas, please.
That would be a major problem for you?
I don't. Yeah, I look. Paul is fine in small doses on the TV show.
He's better for Big Brother. He's better for Big Brother. I will say that, because on Survivor they don't sit you there and then have you just say catchphrases all the time in your confessional. Like on an episode of Survivor, you don't hear one person say a catchphrase 19 times.
Right, and early and the house guests are feeding it too. Earlier today, Nicole was talking about Zach from her season and how America loved him. She's like, oh, Paul, they're going to love you. People are going to be coming up to you all the time going friendship and pissed, and he was all about it. So it's like just encouraging more of that behavior. It's only going to get worse from here.
Your boy is going to be a social media mogul. You'll see.
I've heard social media moguls are back on Big Brother in the world.
Okay. Jay Steckley says, if Michelle and Bridget wanted Frank to stay, couldn't they have given him their envelope so he would have had a better chance to come back?
No.
Brett, no. That's not against. No way.
No, it's not allowed under the rules. Once you pick an envelope, you can't trade it with anybody else or switch. So no, you couldn't do that.
Yeah. Okay. This is from Sierra Butcher at One Lucky Gay. Please grace us with your opinion on Julie's couture tonight.
Are we talking about her dress or her makeup?
Give us both, quickly.
I liked the dress. I thought it was something interesting that she hadn't worn before, and definitely a different silhouette.
Is that a side ponytail?
Yeah, and I liked this. I liked the hair. The contour on the nose was a little harsh, so maybe lighten up a little bit on that. But who am I to criticize the wife of the president of CBS?
Okay. All right, Harry Schaefer says, these players are so dumb. Oh, I wasn't ready for that. Okay. Here, I'll give you that.
These guys are so dumb.
No one even smart enough to throw a hinky vote at Bridget and blame it on Big Mish.
Yeah, like I said in the beginning of the show, not a lot of good strategy happening in the Big Brother house. Seeing Boogie on the show reminded me of how good he was at Big Brother and how he probably would have done something like that tonight just to mix things up.
Yeah. Okay, this is from Miriam, who says, was Frank's eviction speech brilliant and snark worthy of Brent's rants, or did you find it sour grapes? Well, you said you liked it.
Yeah, I tweeted this person, actually, Miriam. Hello, she always follows me on Twitter.
She's always active in the chat, too.
Always great. I thought it was brilliant. I was glad to see he told him what he really thought of him. If I knew I was going to be evicted by a unanimous vote, you best bet your bottom dollar I would tell the house guests what I really thought of them.
Okay. Then John Rumsey, will the show expose to the House the winners of America's Care Package, and will it put a target on them?
We can only hope. Yes, please tell them who wins. Whoever wins, it's going to create drama in the House when people who think they are popular find out that they're not the most popular person.
Yeah, but will it put a target on Bridget's back?
Not anything bigger than what's already there.
But I feel like that people will forget about her, and if she wins this pass, I feel like people will say, oh, we better get rid of her because she's more popular than me.
Oh, I don't know. I'm a feeder, and I care about feeds, and it would be feeds gold, so I'm rooting. Go, Bridget. Get that care package.
All right, let's do one more. This is from Fat Tyson Navazo. Will Frank get a third shot at Big Brother? If Frank gets a third shot at Big Brother, he should say, just put me on Survivor, and then hang up the phone. That's it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think
he has no shot to win this game.
Never winning Big Brother. He is not the kind of person that you can put in a house and expect him to get along with people 100% of the time. At least on the island, you can go off, you can do things, and you can talk to other people. You see other people. You see the cameraman. You see Jeff. Here on the show in the house, you don't get to interact with anybody. Even when you're in the diary room, there's just a camera there. There's not a person.
He has no shot to win Big Brother. At least he would have a shot. At least he'd have a puncher's chance on Survivor.
Yeah, especially with the final three.
Brent, I want to talk to you about something that had been widely reported that we didn't talk about on this show last night. Lots of talk from Andy Denhart and other sources about the idea of a fall season of Big Brother potentially coming up. Big Brother 19 might be only weeks away, Brent.
Yeah, there's been some varying opinions about this. I think if they do a fall season of Big Brother, one of the things that I've heard that I think is actually legitimate would be a online version of Big Brother. I mean, I don't mean online like Sequester. I mean online as in people are on the set, but the show is online on CBS All Access.
CBS All Access is the online version of CBS. It's like their app, which people pay $5.99 a month. That's how people watch the Big Brother live feeds. There is going to be an original Star Trek series coming to CBS All Access in 2017. There's also a Good Wife spinoff and some other original content that is being produced. Brent, a Big Brother 19 in the fall on CBS All Access, friendship or pissed?
Friendship, I will take it, and hopefully I will be there.
Yes. Will it be dope?
If I'm on the show, it will be dope.
Yeah.
Let's pray, Rob. I will audition, and I will try to make it this year.
If you got on Big Brother, but it was on the version that was on CBS All Access and not on the TV show, would that be bittersweet?
It would not be bittersweet. It would be great. I mean, I just want to play the game. Like, I don't... Look, Rob, please. I have money. I don't need money, okay? I don't need money, okay? I just want to play the game and have some fun. That's the kind of people you should be putting in the house, people who are there for the love of the game.
Yeah. I think it would be fun. I'd be interested to see. I don't know if your boy is going to survive a fall season of a Survivor season, a Big Brother season, a Survivor Australia season going on. Also, potentially the return of Amazing Race, which is not currently on the schedule. I wonder if Amazing Race could go to CBS All Access.
It's definitely a possibility. You know, for a lot of people who think that this is a long shot, or that they think that that could never happen. Why would they do that? You know, most people when they're watching television, they just fast forward right through the ads. You know, most people DVR things that are on television. So getting them to watch something online is a way to get paid for it as an advertiser, and you have to watch the ads. You can't fast forward through them. So I can totally see them doing an online version of Big Brother for CBS All Access.
Yes, and I believe that we should support Big Brother 19 with the caveat, hashtag bring back Glenn.
Oh, and in a heartbeat. If they bring this back, for the fall, the first person they should cast is Glenn. I'm hoping. Here's the thing: if it's online and not TV. Okay, I'm hoping that the people who get cast and want to be on the show are not the typical narcissists and fame whores that you typically see on Big Brother every year. It would be people who actually love the game and just want to be a part of it.
Rob, God, you tell me where to be, I'll be there. Trust me. CBS Glenn Access.
And he would, oh yes, CBS Glenn Access. He would be there too. I mean, he was, of all the people in the cast, he's the one who really loves the game the most, I think. Him and Davon.
Yeah. Audrey, call me. I'll do Sequester. Put me on the show. All right, let's do a couple. Do we have an HOH, Brent? Do we need a live feed segment? You tell me.
I don't think so.
Okay. Let me talk about something else I wanted to bring up. Big Brother Reddit, home of Big Mish and many other great Big Brother fans, they had a thread today. This was a thread where one of the Reddit users, this is from DRZ Finest 173, posted, "I know the number of the winning ticket." Okay?
Okay.
That this user posted, "The winning ticket is whoever posted number 8. There's a poster in the Big Brother house that says Ocho Rios for winning destination in plain sight. So I don't know how the hamsters didn't notice that. Apparently Davon has ticket number 8. Are you friendship or pissed at this theory?"
Well, I'm going to be pissed because the envelopes, as far as I can tell, did not have any numbers on them. They were just lined up, and you could pick any envelope you want, but for all intents and purposes, they look identical to each other. So I don't know how you can tell who has number 8 or who has number 5, for that matter. It was just, you know, if you're looking at them by the way they were lined up on the wall, that's pretty tenuous.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't see numbers from the way that they were sort of strewn about, but interesting if that's going to be a clue, because there was a clue on how to get in the room.
Well, I mean, considering that last year, like the last laugh twist, I think it was always like number 7. I would have picked number 7 if I went in, and I think Paul did not pick that. He picked like something else. So I always thought it would be number 7, but it's definitely a possibility it could be number 8. I mean, but I don't think it's because of the sign.
Okay. All right, let's do a couple more questions. This is from Byron Hussey. Should America play defense with the care package and use the never not to burn an undesirable player's shot with a better prize? Look, this doesn't work. This
is like asking the people in Indiana to vote for Ted Cruz and John Kasich together. Like you can't get mass amounts of people to strategically place their vote. It just doesn't work like that.
Right, where Ted Cruz voters, we're going to go in this, and then the Kasich voters, we're going to vote for Marco Rubio. Look, they couldn't get that to work. People couldn't get it to work with the MVP. We could tell the RHAP voters to vote one way, but the voters on a different site are going to vote a different way. There's no way.
No way. Next question.
Yeah. Hannah says, who do you think will snatch up Bridget now that she's a lonely Cabbage Patch Kid? Boy, I wish that anybody talked to me like Rob, I'm always going to be your loyal friend no matter what. I mean, Frank's a lucky guy.
I mean, and she is loyal. That's the thing. I mean, I think if anybody snatches her up, maybe James and Natalie. I mean, she's obviously still friends with Natalie, and Natalie is nice to her. Maybe Paulie. Paulie has at least garnered the respect of Frank and Bridget, if not their, friendship. So it's possible.
Friendship.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And one more question. Scott Ellis, other than Bridget, who's most likely to shake up the house as the HOH?
Well, considering that she's never had it, I would love to see what Davon is like with power. I mean, oh gosh, I don't want to get my hopes up. It's like it's too rich to imagine Davon as the current head of household, because I do think that she would probably go after Nicole. I mean, definitely Bridget's on the radar, but I don't think Davon is going to go after Bridget. I think she's going to go after Nicole for some of her double dealings. Nicole's in hot water.
Davon winning HOH, you think potentially she might go after the tag team? She might go after the showmances? She might go after Paulie and Nicole?
Yeah, I don't know I can't remember if you guys covered this last night, but a lot of Nicole's double dealing when her and Corey have been trying to work with Frank and Bridget has come to light, and most of the other house guests are aware of it right now. And so Nicole is definitely a possibility as being the first person to be evicted next Thursday.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think that Davon might be one of the more rootable people left in this game.
She certainly is from where I'm sitting. I mean, at least I know she loves the game. She watches the game. She knows the history of the game, and that counts for a lot with me. I think she could play a little bit better, but she's trying, and I think I would be very much like Davon if I played the game. I know that's terrible to say from how she's playing, but I wear my heart on my sleeve a lot, and she certainly does as well. So, but it's easy to root for somebody like that.
Here's the roadmap for Davon. Davon needs to hang in there for a couple of weeks. She's about 2 or 3 weeks away. She's got to ride this out right now, because at some point Davon is high enough on the Joker's power rankings, which I think is probably a good reflection of where the vote is coming from. Agree or disagree, Brent? Friendship or pissed?
A friendship. I think it's a fairly good representation of where people are at.
Okay, so that being said, that she's probably about, if we take the top 2 or 3, I don't think she's the most popular person from the viewers, but I think that if you take those first couple of people off, so that figure Natalie's going to win one, James is going to win one, even if Bridget wins one here, probably by the 4th or 5th week when we get into the most powerful spots, then I think that you could see Davon win one of these powers from the America's Care Package. It's so stupid. It's such a stupid name, the Care Package. That's like what my mom used to send me cookies when I was in college. Like, oh, you got a care package.
Look, we can only hope that Davon is lucky enough because, remember, this is a girl who was evicted second on her original season, and she's just been trying to make jury at this point. I think she's finally done it if they start the jury at 11, which they've done in the past. So we'll see going into next week.
All right. So, Brett, the chat room is telling me we have an HOH.
We do. I'm afraid to look. Oh, my God.
I'm going to play the spoiler music so we can go ahead and do this update before we sign off tonight.
Well,
okay.
I can't see who it is.
Here we go.
Okay.
The Office of Civil Defense has issued the following message. This is
A spoiler.
warning.
A spoiler.
Warning means that an actual
Spoiler.
against this country has been detected and that protective action should be taken.
Yes. Okay. All right. So,
Yes.
Brent, we have an update. All right. Who is your new HOH?
Well, you better be trying to pass out some friendship because Paul is the new head of household.
Oh! Oh!
Oh, boy.
That's right. Pack your bags. We're getting somebody out this week. I'm calling the shots. This is friendship. Get pissed. I'm not sketch. It's your boy. Your boy's HOH. Getting a big head. Everybody is getting a haircut. I don't care.
I'm not sure exactly what he's going to do. Obviously, I think Nicole and Bridget are the two primary targets at this point, but I don't think he would nominate them together. I definitely think that Natalie is a possibility as a pawn. So at least Victor is probably safe for another week. There's that.
I mean, who is he most? I mean, Frank was his big target. So who is the person that he most wants out of the house?
He's definitely been more anti-Bridget lately. He started a fight with her, or at least got her upset.
He's really gonna waste his HOH week on Bridget?
I mean, look, if Davon gets in his ear, and lately him and Zakiya and Davon have been pretty close. They've been trying to pull in Paulie. On the other hand, Paulie doesn't really trust Davon. But those three are together, Paul, Zakiya, and Davon, to a certain extent. It's not official, but they've been hanging out a lot. They're on the same wavelength. If Davon can get in his ear about Nicole, that may be able to be enough to get him to nominate her. I don't know, though. We'll see.
All right, we will find out what your boy is going to do tomorrow morning. We'll talk about it with Alex and Taryn on our live feed report. And then on Sunday night, we will try to we may have a guest on Sunday night. We'll see. We'll see. I have a guest in pencil if that comes together. Either way, Taryn Armstrong will be back with me to update what happens on Paul's HOH nominations as we start to head into the home stretch here. Are we at the halfway point? No.
Oh, it's like actually I don't even know if it's the halfway point.
Sorry.
No, it's 99 days this year and it's not day 45. I know that.
Yeah, I was vamping. We're not halfway. We're not halfway.
Okay.
But we will see. We will see what happens. Of course, Brent is on Twitter. He's at OneLuckyGay. We will talk about all of the friendship over the weekend on our next Big Brother update. All right, lots of fun here tonight. Have a good weekend, everybody. We will talk to you soon. And thanks, of course, to Scott St. Pierre behind the scenes, pulling your questions, talk about it all, coming up on our next podcast. Take care, everybody.